Hey guys, I'm feeling fired up with enthusiasm today, and even though I'm quite livid, I feel quite empowered by the Holy Spirit to send a message to you that the actual truth of what life is and what it's become is never going to be easy or fun to explain. It's basically the real truth itself. If it were to be explained to you, would be way too astounding and horrifying to ever live a normal life again. That's why these orchestrators and these cultural engineers, as I put them, are dead set on keeping you in a false reality that is either so sickly sweet that it hurts, or it's so brutal and unrelenting that you don't want to live through it, and it's hard to ever explain and ever get any solidarity or any solid answers. It's all designed to contain you and make you feel terrible and make you feel crazy like you're the problem. But the problem is, too many sick, evil people who do heinous things have control over the situation in ways that the average person never even thinks about. And that's good for them. It's good for them if you don't think, if you don't use your mind, and if you don't assume that it's something terrible, because it is. This whole world is sick and evil and fueled with hubris and greed and a lot of need to control. There's never going to be a lot of autonomy that's encouraged. There's never going to be free will that's going to be allowed without some type of punishment. That's just the world we live in, and I accept that. I accept that all day long. This false reality is always going to be preferable to a sick, soulless person who's done a lot of wrong. You know, it's better for them that you live in a false reality where you're contained and you can't even be yourself, can't even state your piece, can't even feel horrible the right way. You can't express your concerns, you can't share any wisdom, you can't do anything meaningful to these people. They're soulless, and they don't really care if you have a meaningful existence. They're just trying to keep getting by in hell on earth, accepting the mark of the beast. That's literally what we're dealing with in the world. To me, it's so easy and plain to see, but most people don't live with that being their frame of reality. They don't think about this being an orchestrated, contained disaster. Like, we are heading into a dystopian future that is quite socialist, without rights. As people go away, things disappear, and we never even talk about it. We just go through our mechanical motions, fulfilling our role on this planet, never to reach any new heights at all, never to prove any points, never to help bridge the gap and make people actually feel like living through it. You know, at a certain point, they're just going to do away with anybody who grows a backbone, who decides to do anything productive or meaningful. It's just going to be a slow ascent, or slow descent rather, into absolute hellfire, and it's going to be a loss of our rights and our lives over time. Pretty much. But another thing to remember too is that they love to motivate us at the wrong time and demotivate us at the wrong time. It is never going to culminate in anything meaningful or cathartic because of their level of orchestration. These cultural engineers know the future, and they know what's set to happen, and they play God with the outcome. They have that ability because they see into the future, they know things, and they have manipulative tactics and things of that sort to keep things at bay and to stop people like me who are motivated and driven and actually have a spiritual purpose on this planet. They don't want us to ever actualize anything meaningful at all. But just remember, something bigger is still going to happen in this world, and it's going to shock and horrify people over time. It's never going to be explained. It's just going to be a sudden and brutal realization one of these days that, whoa, this happened way too long and nobody ever did anything or said a word about it. And that's a fucking shame to me. But God's wrath is going to be a prevalent theme in the next several years, I believe. And it's not going to be the life that anybody ever thought it was. If everybody on this planet knew how much time they had left to work with, they would be heavily distraught and pissed off knowing that, verbatim. But that's the thing, we never really will know verbatim. We just got to live it and anticipate it and hope for the best. And hopefully we can reach some people and actually find some meaning and create some value out of this meaningless time period that they've made for sentient people who think a lot, who are brilliant. There's so much creative, brilliant light that's left this planet that we can't even prove, but we know if we think and feel and we pay attention to the deep down like I do. But their goal is just to keep you in a worsening rehash of the same but different, with some very finite barriers that are hard to break, and it basically requires our subservience and lack of observation to keep their thing going. Just remember, this is spiritual warfare. This is not normal life. You're gonna have to make time to be different. That's all I have to say for now.